Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Guys, if you watched some of my recent videos, you've seen some of my footage probably from the St. Lawrence River where I lost a lot of fish on a jerkbait. And I had a lot of comments from viewers that were talking about how I should use soft split rings. And then I've had a lot of viewers as well that saw those comments that asked specifically what a soft split ring was. So I thought I'd do a quick video on it. This is a video I've actually done 3 years ago. I did a video very early in my YouTube career on using soft split rings and how I think they're extremely valuable. And in fact, I was using them at the St. Lawrence River. Not every jerkbait I had on had them, and that just was a function of me like potentially breaking a bait off or changing to a color to try something new that I had not tied soft split rings on. Um, and I do think it definitely makes a difference in terms of your landing percentage. But I was, in fact, using soft split rings. So that was not solely the problem of my lost fish, or I should say, not the sole solution to my lost fish. So what is a soft split ring exactly? This is a question that several people talked about, and this is something that I learned from Joe Uribe at one of the first U.S. Opens that I fished out on Lake Mead back, I'm gonna say 2015-ish. So I've been doing this for quite some time now, and I really do feel like it makes a big difference. And at that time, Joe had told me how valuable it was in terms of taking away the leverage to the fish. So if I grab this Berkeley Chapo here, which is what I'm replacing with soft split rings, I've got the front treble hook mounted on a traditional split ring. It's a metal split ring. Well, the key here is with a metal split ring, if you twist the hook, so let's say you're fighting a fish and the fish turns, you can get that to turn about a half turn, maybe a third to a half turn before the hook itself cannot twist anymore because it's hitting the eye of the bait and it's creating a lot of leverage that the fish can then get to use the hook, use that leverage to unhook themselves, is really what it comes down to. With a soft split ring, which is a split ring made out of braided line, that hook can twist 360 degrees and takes that leverage away. So when you're using baits that a lot of times fish come up and slap at, so your top waters, your jerk baits, crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, things like that, where the fish a lot of times will react and slap at the bait, end up getting hooks caught around the outside of the face, which are easy to unhook with a little bit of leverage. If you're using those types of baits, you might want to think about trying to tie some soft split rings. They work very, very well. You know, it's made out of braided line though, so you may want to replace them over time. If you use a bait, you catch a ton of fish, or you're fishing around a lot of rock, you know, you do run into the potential where your braid can actually break and you can lose a fish from that standpoint. So you want to replace your braided line on a somewhat regular basis. Now, having said that, I've got some split rings, soft split rings that I've tied that I've been using, you know, for a year or two based on not using that bait much, or if it's a top water bait where I don't have to worry about that bait bumping against rocks. But you just got to be aware of the fact that a metal split ring lasts the life of the bait generally. A soft split ring is made out of a material that will deteriorate over time or break down. All right, so let's show you how to tie one. So I've got here just a piece of braided line. This is roughly 2 feet long. You want to fold it over on itself so you have a loop on one side and two roughly similar distance tag ends. At that point, you're going to take your loop to your braided line. You're going to take your treble hook that you want to add, slide the loop through the eye of that treble hook like that, and then take the bait that you want to attach that treble hook to and slide that as well through it. So in this case, let's see if I can do this without dropping. I've got the hook and the bait that I want to attach. So at this point, what I like to do is kind of wrap the line around my finger to keep that from the bait from sliding off. Because a lot of times, if you're inexperienced with this, the line or the hook or the bait will slide off the line. So what you want to do now is grab your looped end of your braid and fold it over on itself. Put both fingers in, curl it over so you have a loop that you just made out of that tag end or out of that looped end of your braid. So now take your two tag ends and you're going to want to put those both tag ends through the loop that you made with the looped end of the line. So in this case, you can now pull that tight and you've got a hook that is not fully knotted to your hook eye. Well, in this case, if you grab the hook and give it just a little pull, you can open that loop up. Now, depending on how big of a split ring you want, what I like to do is take an object and insert it through that loop that you just pulled apart. Generally, I like to use about 1/8 of an inch. So I've just got a screwdriver and I'll insert that through, and then I'm going to take my tag ends and pull it tight on that screwdriver. Again, the screwdriver's sole purpose here is to give you the diameter of your split ring. So once you've got that done, all you need to do is take both tag ends and just create a square knot. So 2 overhand knots, pull them tight all the way down. Probably used a little bit too much for the demonstration. Pull it really nice and tight. So that's 1 loop, 1 overhand knot. So I'm going to complete the square knot. Pull it all the way down on itself and pull it really tight. And I've just locked that in. So at this point now I can take my scissors and I can cut my tag ends off very, very short because there's not any slippage with this. Let me cut it nice and short for you. So I've just cut my braided line tag ends off, take my screwdriver and just slide it out. And at that point, I've created my soft split ring. So you can see the loop of that. That's my soft split ring. So now when I've got a fish, so you can see, I mean, that thing is locked on there. Now when I've got a fish that grabs that hook, if I'm fighting them, they can just continue to twist and spin, and you can get a full 360 out of that bait. So or out of that hook. So you've taken away a ton of leverage that that fish could get with a metal split ring. Very, very important in terms of fishing around fish with treble hook baits that are slapping at your bait. It really does help to land fish. I do feel like it made a difference with the number of fish that I lost, even though I still lost a lot. But I think that had a function to do with how those fish were slapping at the bait. And, you know, I was catching a lot of fish with laser sharp hooks on the outside of the face. I probably would have lost more had I not replaced with soft split rings. So that's where we're at, guys. I'm going to get back to replacing a couple more of these, but because I had questions regarding a soft split ring and I haven't talked about them in all but 3 years, which really surprised me, I figure I would do a refresher video on you or for you so that you guys could go give a soft split ring a try. This is a valuable tip that I do believe has improved my overall catch ratio with hard baits. So give it a try, guys. Let me know in the comment section. Are you tying soft split rings? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you have some other little tips like that that also help land fish? If so, please share with us. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned. We'll have a new video coming out tomorrow.